amazing grace of God. It is an invasion of the sovereign love of God, penetrating the gap of darkness with the overwhelming power of His marvelous light. It bridges the gap between man and God. Take a journey through the amazing grace of God with your host, Sarah Abraham, as she shares the compelling stories of those who walked in His covenant and have overcome by the amazing grace of God. Join us weekdays this fall for Amazing Grace with Sarah Abraham.
Welcome to Amazing Grace. I'm your host, Sarah Abraham. Thank you for watching Destiny TV. We really appreciate your comments and your letters, your phone calls, emails. Was what motivates us to keep bringing this kind of amazing program to you. We have two wonderful women in the spring of youth and health and has an amazing testimony to share. Pastor Liddie Owens, tell us a little bit about your life and what brought you to Dr. Shel.
I am happy to do that today. And thank you so much, Sarah, for having us as your guest today. I just love being able to share with women about what God is doing for the generation that I'm in. I'm 64 years old.
Wow.
Mother of 5 children. And, women, we love to give and share. And I've done that all my life. And after all my children got grown, and then God called me into the full-time ministry, which I just love. That's the love of my life, is doing God's will and helping others grow and mature into the things that God has for them. At some point in my life, I became very burnt out in my body, and I didn't know what was going on. And I felt like an 18-wheeler truck trying to slow down, and I wanted to slow down, and all of a sudden my body just crashed, like a computer crash, hard drive. My hard drive just crashed. And it wasn't anything in particular hurting me, but I just didn't feel well. Every day I could not describe what was ailing me. And I was out of town doing what I love to do so well, and that is serve. I was out of town, and all of a sudden I became very ill in my body. And I told my son, I said, we gotta get back to Houston because I'm gonna go to the doctor for a checkup. Well, when I went for a checkup, they didn't find anything wrong with me. They did all the blood work. I was in and out of the hospital. Every time I went, Sarah, they said, there's nothing wrong. You have the best blood work that we've seen in months. But my body kept saying something is wrong.
Not right.
So the doctor said to me, well, we're going to put you on sleeping pills since you can't sleep. I was going 4 and 5 days without any sleep at all.
And nobody can function
No,
without 4 or 5
absolutely not.
days.
Absolutely not. It is a form of torture, as we know.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I felt in my body, I said, something is wrong, but I don't know where to go and who to go to. Every doctor I went to, they was talking about drugs, Ambien, sleeping pills, and I said, no.
And you can see 14
All of this
different
was offered
drugs
to me.
Yes.
Oh my God. When do you get time to even eat
That's right.
or drink?
That's right.
14 different medications they put you. And I heard there was Dr. Shel telling us there's 3-4 sleeping pills in this.
Absolutely. Yes.
But something on the inside of me says, no, that is not the route for you to take. So I refuse. There were nights, Sarah, that I sit and I held those sleeping pills in my hand and I said, God, if you don't give me some sleep tonight, I'm going to have to take one of these sleeping pills. But I would make it through the night, and God would give me strength to hold on, because He told me that He was going to use this testimony as a platform for other women, and He wanted me to share, because He said in His word, my
And
people.
there's a lot of women who are going through similar
this.
situations
Absolutely.
like that.
Yes.
How did you connect with Dr. Shel?
I connected with Dr. Shel through a divine appointment. I was out one day and there was one of her pamphlets, and I picked it up, and God said to me, this is the lady that has the wisdom to tell you what is wrong with your body, because my people perish for the lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And the knowledge that He had given unto Dr. Shel is what broke that yoke off my life and brought me to a place of my healing. And so I said to Dr. Shel, I am being a guest on Sarah's Amazing Grace show, and I'd like for you to come with me to share, because I want other women to know that we don't have to give up.
You don't have to give up. Thank you, Dr. Shel, for coming.
Yes.
We really appreciate
My
it.
pleasure, Sarah.
Just tell me, what does all these drugs to do
To your body.
to your body?
Yes. You know, Sarah, after practicing medicine for the last 20 years,
Traditional medicine.
traditional medicine, so I'm a board certified OBGYN, and I started off, of course, practicing traditional medicine, helping women, delivering babies, doing surgeries, and just had an amazing experience taking care of women in all aspects of their lives. But about 11 years ago, what happened to me is that I myself started going through so many different symptoms that I myself couldn't understand as a physician. And this happened right after I had my second child. And I went to my OBGYN expressing that I was going through fatigue and mood swings and insomnia and other issues like hair loss and weight gain. And what do? I knew as a traditional doctor, okay, this medication for this and this medication for that, but I knew my body as well as does Dr. Owens, and you know that you're not depressed.
Correct.
You know that something is imbalanced in your body. And so when I was given 2 prescriptions, antidepressants, much like Dr. Owens was, as well as a sleeping pill, I knew at that point that traditional medicine is not
the
helping
answer.
millions of people out there. So I went on a quest myself to be able to figure out what are millions of women going through, and men, by the way, because now I treat both men and women in my practice of functional medicine, which is more of a holistic approach of medicine because it looks at the mind, the body, and the spirit. And it's so important to look
And
at
they're
all
all
of that.
connected.
They're all connected. And just like Dr. Owens, her mind was wonderful. Her spirit was magnificent, but her body did not connect with those things. So we had to start peeling the onion, and I looked at all of these medications that she brought into my office and said, this is everything that was prescribed to me. And despite all of this, I'm not sleeping, I'm exhausted, my body just will not cooperate with me, my immune system is down, I'm extremely tired, I can't get out of bed and do the ministry that she loves doing. And I looked at those medications and I said, well, you've got 2 antibiotics there, you don't have an infection, why are you on antibiotics? You have 3 sleeping pills there. Is it helping you sleep? No, I'm still awake for 4 to 5 days in a row. Well, then those need to go away. Well, you have so many other things that are not helping you. Your energy level is still low, you're just not yourself. So I said to her, let's stop it all. Let us look into your body and see what is causing this. We need to look at the root cause of what is making you feel this way.
Hormone imbalance.
Exactly. So we started looking at all of our hormones, and we do that very specifically. We do it with a saliva test because, Sarah, saliva testing looks into your cellular levels of the hormones.
Not
when
blood.
You do, not blood. There are certain things that the blood test can tell you. It can tell you about your liver, your kidneys. We did a food sensitivity analysis on Dr. Owens because
To see if she was allergic to any
to
kind
see
of
if
food.
she was allergic or sensitive because her gut was not responding to her. It was not supporting her. It was creating inflammation that was then traveling all over her body, leading to joint pain, muscle aches, leading to brain fog, leading to fatigue, leading to gut issues. Millions of people are diagnosed with things like IBS, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. Think about the statistics of colon cancer in this country right now. It is climbing
Huge.
sky high because of the foods that we eat, which then lead to inflammation, which then lead to the increased chances of cancer.
And you know, colonoscopy is kind of like your pap smear now.
Exactly.
Every man
Every woman has to
has
have it.
colonoscopy. Once you're 50, colonoscopy.
Yes.
I told myself, you know, keep that scope up. When something is wrong, I come to you.
And you know, I'm not averse to doing preventive measures.
Correct.
Your pap smears, your mammograms, your colonoscopies as you need it, you know, according to your age and risk factors. However, we need to look at what is causing all of these symptoms so we avoid them, we prevent them. We don't necessarily want to be the support mechanisms of pharmaceutical companies. We know
Correct.
it's a multi-billion
Billion
dollar
dollar
industry.
Yes.
And why is it that way? Because We as physicians in medical school, in residency,
Are
are
taught.
taught how to prescribe medications. We are not taught how to look at the person, because what are we given in the office? You know this. You go to a doctor's office, you wait in the waiting room for about an hour, you see the doctor for maybe 10 or 15 minutes if it's a lucky day. Otherwise, it's 5 to 10 minutes, here's a couple of refills of your medications, off you go. In my practice, what we do now is I meet with my patients when I first get to know them, 45 minutes to an hour, because I want to know, what is your background? What are your stressors? What is your family like? How many hours a day do you work? How much do you sleep? What are you eating? How much are you exercising? Are you meditating? Are you doing any yoga? Are you spiritual? Are you taking time for yourself? What are your nutritional balances? What are your hormonal balances? Those things are very important in who you are as a person. It's not which medications are you taking. That is not what makes you healthy or unhealthy.
right.
So,
You know, it is so troublesome that we take care of our cars
Yes.
better than we take care of our body.
body.
isn't that the truth?
You
Isn't
know?
that the truth? Yes.
But sometimes that happens because we simply do not know
Yes.
how.
It's the lack of knowledge.
It's the lack of knowledge.
It's the lack of knowledge. And unfortunately, it's really not the population's issue. It's not the common person's issue. It is the issue of the medical system right now. We are supposed to be, we as physicians and healthcare providers, we are the ones that are supposed to be your advocates.
That's right.
We are supposed to be the ones that you can trust.
But see, the insurance industry is
Yes.
handling you. The
Correct.
physicians have become handlers
Correct.
of the
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately.
So what have I done now? I don't accept insurance because I want to take care of my patients the way they need to be taken care of.
Insurance won't even pay for that.
They won't even
Insurance
pay
will
for
pay
that.
for all this.
Exactly,
That's
because
right.
of the pharmaceutical companies. So I think what's really important is we as people should ask ourselves, do I feel like the optimal self that I need to feel like? Do I have excellent energy? Do I sleep well? Do I have the weight that I want? And it's not about weight, it's about health.
Health.
It's about, do I feel well? Do I have the muscle mass? Am I going to have osteoporosis because I'm not doing the specific exercises that I need to? Am I taking time for myself? There's something that I see in my office all the time, Sarah, and most traditional physicians have never even heard of it and don't believe in it. It's called adrenal fatigue.
That's right.
Adrenal fatigue is something that we were never taught in medical school or residency, and now I make it my mission to teach other doctors all over the country, and I do some international teaching for doctors around the world to teach them to go to the root cause. What the adrenal gland does, think about it. You were born, we're talking about a car. So you fill your car up with a full tank of gas, and you expect it to drive you all the way to California. Well, it's not going to make it to California.
On a
You've
full
got to
tank.
keep
Refill.
refilling it. So we expect ourselves to essentially, the tank of gas that we have when we were born, it's supposed to go with us until we die. 90s, 100s, look at the life expectancy now. But by 40s, you're just done. You have burned that gas out. So your adrenal glands are two glands that sit on top of your kidneys that produce a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol, I'm sure you've heard of it, it's the stress hormone.
Yes.
Think about how much stress we women especially, but also men, go through in today's day and age. We have aging parents, we have children that we're raising, we have our professions, our careers, we're taking care of everybody else, but are we taking care of ourselves? We're not.
Did not.
Are we doing what our bodies need? We're not. And so that cortisol starts burning out because we're just stressing, stressing, stressing. So we're constantly living in a state of fight or flight. When you do that, you're exhausted, you lose hair, you cannot sleep, you have brain fog, you cannot think clearly, and you start gaining weight. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, why am I gaining weight? I eat well, I exercise, I do everything. Well, you're gaining weight because your hormones are not balanced. And your cortisol, the one that's putting you in a fight or flight, tells your body, I have to hold on to.
Store it.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Why? Because it's in a state of constant emergency. It does not know where it's going to get its next meal, so it's going to store all your fat, especially in the midsection. So you can exercise as much as you want. You can eat as healthy as you want. You're not going to lose that weight because your body will always win in the survival mode. It will always store that fat until you fix the root cause. So that is
instead
very
of
important.
treating the symptoms,
Yes.
find out what is causing
Yes.
those symptoms.
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely, because you think about your thyroid gland. You know, we've talked about it many times, and I talk to all my patients about this. I am sure all your listeners have had their thyroid tested. So just as an example, the thyroid range, most doctors will only test your TSH. The range is this wide. Okay, it's 0.5 to 4.5. Where it needs to be is 0.5 to about 1.5 or 2. That is the optimal range. That is the range where you feel amazing. You can sleep well. You're not constipated. You're not losing your hair and your eyebrows, and you're not gaining weight, and you have energy. But if you're not in that range, your doctor will tell you, oh no, you're fine. Look, you're in this big range of you're alive. We don't want to be just alive. We want to be optimal. We want to
Optimal.
feel great. And that is the entire difference between optimal care versus you're okay, here's some prescriptions, go home, see you next year.
So, Dr. Owen, tell us,
Pastor Owens.
Pastor Owens, Liddie Owens, okay. Tell us, where are you now? We know where you were, and what treatment or what have you done to become this optimal spokesperson?
You see this smile on my face. I am so happy, Sarah.
Well, her husband is a dentist. Maybe he fixed your teeth.
Yes. I sleep every night, all night long. In the mornings, I hate to get up.
Wonderful.
Whereas several weeks ago, I just started coming to Dr. Shel. It's been about a month now. When I came into her office, Sarah, I came and I laid on the desk. I could barely make it. And the girl said to me, have a seat, we're gonna see about you right away. After I took my first treatment, and she'll explain what that is because I don't have all the definitions, but the first treatment that she gave me was an IV therapy of vitamins that I needed. I believe it was vitamin C and glutamine. Glutathione. I left there, Sarah, with energy.
Spring.
Oh,
Yes.
I got my life back. I'm
in your
telling
step.
you, yes, I got my life back. So after all this that I went through for the last 2 months, I was down for a month and a half. I couldn't do anything but just stay in bed. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. But since I've been going to Dr. Shel, things have turned around. I got my life back, and I wanted to share it with women to let them know that you don't have to give
When you find a
up.
good thing,
Share
you
it.
share it. You let other people know. So tell us, what kind of treatment has
So Pastor Owens has we've done a nutritional testing on her, which is a test to see out of the 33 different vital vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants what she was deficient in. So we're replacing those specific nutrients. We don't want to just take everything.
Not
We
like
don't
a
need to take,
multivitamin with
exactly.
everything
We
in
need
it.
to be specific and
What is-
customized to what each person needs.
Customized. that's what I like.
Customized and balance her. We've cleaned out her gut, so we're able to see what foods are triggering inflammation, which then causes the brain fog and the insomnia. So we cleaned out the gut. We did a 14-day detox on her and cleaned her gut out, which is something that I like to do with all my patients, which just cleans you out, cleans out your liver, kidney, and gut. We've done heavy metal toxicity testing to see, because we live in Texas, there's so many heavy metals around us,
yes.
toxins. We need to clean that out. We have tested her hormones, and she's now on bioidentical hormones, which are biologically identical to what our bodies produce, and they're natural. So you don't have the
not
side
synthetic.
effects of the synthetic hormones like your stroke and breast cancer and heart disease. These are naturally produced and naturally made. She's also gotten into just spending more time on herself and relaxing and doing the appropriate exercises, etc. We've cleaned out her liver, her kidneys, her thyroid. We've balanced her thyroid. So we've done the things that were causing her to be not where she wanted to be. And it's really interesting because, Sarah, patients always ask me, what got you into doing this? And I think all of us have been through such challenging times in our lives. Challenging situations. I speak about it in my book that I recommend to all my patients. And I was inspired to write my book because When I was very young, when I was about 18, I lost my brother.
Oh.
And he was only 25. He had 2 children, and they were very young. They were 2.5 and 8 months old. And it changed my life, of course, as it would change any family's existence. And I knew at that point that I was going to go into medicine and help people because of the situation in which he passed away. And then when I was close to 30, my best friend committed suicide. She took a gun and she basically ended her life because she was in a very, very dark place. And nobody was able to identify why she was in such a dark place. But I told myself, I will do everything possible that is my mission to help any person that I can reach and touch to not go into that dark place because there's no one to help them. And I try to do this through a lot of public speaking and speaking to women's groups and men's groups in different ministries. And I give away a lot of information, like on my website, I'm giving away a free ebook to all your listeners. If they just log into drshel.com and get a free ebook download on how to balance their hormones.
Dr. Shel?
Dr. Shel, drshel.com.
drshel.com.
Yes. And so they can download this ebook with how to balance their hormones naturally. And even if they are unable to get in to see us, they can get a lot of help because they'll be educated. I would encourage them to read the book, to go to my website. There is a lot of information on the website that would teach them and educate them how they can change their lives without spending any money and really focusing on themselves. Think about what we are told when we fly on an airplane. When we fly on an airplane, we are told, in the case of an emergency, put the oxygen mask first on yourself and then on the person next to you, because if we're not well, other people, we cannot help others.
Anybody.
And I know all of us want to help others. That is all of our
Instinct.
missions.
You know, we are mothers and we are sisters, we are friends.
Exactly.
We always want to help.
Yes, but the first person we must help is ourselves, so we are well to be able to take our mission to the next step. And I think that's very, very important.
Very
Dr.
important.
Shel, you know, the people listening to us, they're always wondering, can I afford this?
Yes.
How much something like this would cost?
So it really depends. And when I say customize, Sarah, it's customized. You can, you know, have something. We always, when we do so first of all, we do a complimentary consultation. And that's very important to me as my mission, because I want women and men to come and get educated. And then they decide whether it's something that they think they want to do. Is it the right time? Can they afford it? What parts of this do they want to do? So if they just want to start with hormones, that's all we do. So we let them know this is what we see as a full picture. But you don't have to start with the full picture. Start with baby steps. Start somewhere. And we try to make that as affordable as possible. And we also tell them, you know, think about all the medications that you're on. Think about how much money you're spending on that. Think about how much money you're giving to the insurance companies and your co-pays to the doctors, and look at how you're feeling. Let's put a stop to all of that, and let's get to the root cause. And sometimes all it takes is changing how you eat and how you relax and how you exercise and balancing just your thyroid and hormones. Knowledge. Knowledge is key. And so in that
knowledge is free.
Exactly. Knowledge is free. And so I always encourage patients, come in, let us educate you. And once we educate you, then it's your choice whether you want to go to the next step.
Do what you can afford.
Yes, absolutely. Because again, it's not a one-size-fits-all. We have different level packages, but also we customize. We do a la carte because everybody's not in the same place in life. And to me, my mission is to help everybody, regardless of their economical level, their financial status, or what have you. It doesn't matter. Everybody deserves to be helped, to be educated, and then I do a lot of education and webinars that are completely complimentary online. No issues with being able to afford those. Me, I just want to educate, and that's my goal.
That is wonderful. So everybody can afford it.
Absolutely.
Don't let that be an excuse.
Yes.
You know, come for the consultation and see what you can get to feel better.
Yes, it's so important.
And Give us some key symptoms
Yes.
that people go through.
Sure. So if you are feeling fatigue, if you are feeling that you're gaining weight and you're trying to do everything, if you're feeling that you cannot sleep, and I recommend everybody sleeps at least 7 to 8 hours a night. So people come to me all the time and they say, oh yeah, I sleep about 5 to 6 hours. That's, yes, Sarah. You know, you deserve to give your body that break that it needs, because during your sleep is when you're going to heal.
That's right.
If you're losing hair, if you're gaining weight, if you're tired, if your mental clarity is not where it used to be, if you're not as motivated, you feel like you just don't want to do anything.
And jittery.
Jittery. If you feel depressed, you feel anxious, you feel like you're just not yourself. And also, if you feel like you've lost your libido, and that's something that, you know, we don't talk about much because perhaps it's embarrassing, but it's a fact of life. In a marriage, in a relationship, it's natural. And if you lose that, it can be detrimental to a relationship. So I talk about that with my patients all the time. I see men all the time, Sarah, and you know, we're all women, so we're kind of focusing on that. But men too go through something called andropause. Andropause is when their testosterone levels take a dive.
Cousin to menopause?
It is. It is. It is.
Cousin.
It is. It's actually male menopause.
Yes,
it's called andropause. And their testosterone levels decline, take a major decline. I have men come into my office all the time and say, I'm just not the same. My energy's gone. I'm creating this belly fat. I'm not motivated. When I exercise, there's no muscle mass anymore. I have no libido. I can't think straight. I mean, these are executives, people who really need their motivation.
And we know a lot of Andres out there.
Yes, yes. And so it's a really simple issue. And it's nothing to be embarrassed about.
It's part of your body and how it reacts.
That's it.
Goes through the changes.
That's it.
It's just a part of it.
We're not embarrassed about our estrogen declining or our progesterone. Men should not be embarrassed about that too. But they should seek help, and they should know there is help for them. They don't have to live like this. And we don't have to live like this as women.
And Dr. Shel, tell us a little bit, I know we're almost out of time,
Yes, of
about
course.
your book.
Sure.
It says, I Am Woman, Our Journeys to Health, Happiness and Harmony.
Yes.
A lot of H's.
Yes, yes. Well, as you can see, it's all about the balance of your health, your happiness. So it's a mind, body, spirit book. But in this book, I educate the readers about what it could be that could be causing your symptoms. So a lot of what we discussed, I go really deep into that. I go deep into hormonal balancing, thyroid, nutrition, adrenal balancing, as well as just stress and what it does to our bodies. In addition to that, I have 10 actual stories in the words of the patients of what their life was, and after natural treatments, what their
Like
life
Pastor
became.
Owen.
Like
Thank you.
Pastor Owens. She will be in my next book, by the way.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for
It's
being
a
here.
pleasure.
It was a great information that you shared,
Thank you.
knowledge that you shared,
Thank you.
that all of us can use. And so don't let that be an excuse that, I don't feel good, so I didn't do this. So, all of us, God wants us to live
Yes.
up to our optimum best.
Yes.
In health, like you said, body, mind, and soul.
Absolutely.
Or spirit.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank
It
you
was
for having me,
wonderful. I have learned a lot.
Well, I'm so glad.
And I'm almost sure you have too. And her website will be on the screen. Give us a call and we can connect you. Until next time, keep walking in the amazing grace of God.